Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today we're in the New Orleans W. So the white version, right? And I know it's a copy-paste of the normal New Orleans, but it is really nice, actually, for me to have a premium version if I want to make cash or, XP, which is really a nice little bonus. Now, that being said, New Orleans actually happens to be one of my favorite destroyers at tier 6. With that being said, you guys can see we are bottom tier, and everything we're going to see in this match is going to be tier 7. We're going to be down a tier on everybody we fight, right? So our destroyers AFK, that happens, we're going to go ahead and push up. Now, we have a couple of cruisers with us, so I'm assuming I'm going to be doing the spotting, which can be harder to do in American cruisers than you think, right? They're definitely well protected, right? They're not bad on that front, but I don't think they're as well protected as everybody thinks. And in this match, we're going to learn to know when we're outmatched and outgunned, right? We see a Bismarck. We're not going to just take a dumb shot. We want to know what's over here. We have pretty good detection because this is the build I use for like my Baltimore and my radar cruisers, right? So we're going to go ahead and push up again or a little bit here to help spot. And we're going to be a little bit careful here. We're going to start to turn out and shoot our guns. We're now in a position to do that. Now, I had AP loaded in case I got a broadside. But with it being a Bismarck that I'm shooting at, I would much rather use HE in this circumstance because I could be breaking his secondaries, right? If I'm not getting a full broadside, getting some fires and some secondaries, not a bad thing. Also, you're going to see anchorages over there. That fleet, I know is a good fleet, and I've run across that player before, so I know he's a solid player. So I understand if I charge in here, it's probably not going to go well for me, right? There's 2 tier 7s, and it seems like probably decent players because the Bismarck didn't just drive straight in right away. So we're going to back off a little bit, and this isn't going to be the world's best game, right? But it's going to showcase how this could have went very bad for me had I pushed in, right, and just kind of put myself in a bad position. So we're going to blind fire the anchorage just to annoy him. I do know that's a solid player, so Yukikaze, if you're watching, I know you're a good player. That's also why I backed up. Now, I thought Bismarck was actually going to hit the island there. That's my map awareness. I couldn't tell on the map whether he was or not, so I fired backwards. Also, right here, I could be shooting AP. But again, I feel like with HE on a secondary ship, on breaking stuff and setting fires while they charge in, probably a good idea. But don't underestimate the value of AP either, right? Like, I could use AP there and be super effective as well. In fact, we didn't get the world's best luck with the HE, and HE is definitely not AP is definitely not a bad option there. But again, we don't want to give up this cap, and we have a very close games on our hand, right? Our destroyer did actually go forward, and he is working on A. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the map. Now, Bismarck comes out here, and he's on fire. You're going to see I switch over to AP now, and we're going to start to shred him. We've had a pretty slow start here, right? We're being cautious. Last thing you can do to your team if you're a decent player is rush in and die. And I have done that a lot in the past. So with him burning down, we're going to work on AP, and you're going to see we're going to get some pretty solid chunks on him, right? That's a decent one, and you're going to see here, because he's already on fire, as we make sure we angle, we're going to try to get some more chunks off of him as well, because now he has went into German battleship mode and decided to charge straightforward. Definitely not in his best concern. Also, we know that because we've backed off, we have forced the guy, the 2D player or 2SDF player to move up, right? And kind of push in because he was, we were kind of kiting in there. But we were doing it in a position where we were still spotting for our team on a chunk of it. And now we're going to go ahead and move in. Now there is a Pazarski and the Anchorage is still over here. They're both in smoke. So me going all willy-nilly and firing my guns and letting them have the advantage is not smart here. And so we're going to actually drive in. Our teammate uses his radar to get the Pazarski spotted. And he's going to do a pretty solid job of, keeping him lit up and keeping that Pazarski in a bad position. But I'm trying to get, now that there's no battleship, right? Now I don't have to be nearly as scared. I don't have to be careful of getting taken out in the wrong salvo if I'm not paying attention. And now I can work on moving back up into this position, which I think sometimes people get a little too aggressive in American cruisers, including myself. I did it a lot before. And having played a lot of cruisers and destroyers lately, particularly ones that I haven't played a lot of, like New Orleans I played in the very beginning, but not much recently, definitely can feel a difference in the style of gameplay, right? When you can use island cover. In this circumstance, I did have to do some of the spotting early on, as we're going to try to take a shot here to help out on Pazarski. He's put himself in a bad position pushing up, and we're now moving in. And I feel like I love American cruisers because I love cruisers that you can shoot AP out of, and I love a lot of them, things about them. Now, I think the thing that we got to be careful with American heavy cruisers, right, is pushing too far in. You generally get overmatched by battleships at your tier, and honestly, while they do have decent protection, when you get up close and personal on an American heavy cruiser, you don't have torps, right? Generally, you don't have torps. You don't have the close-in tools that some of the other ships have, even I would say overly amazing fire chances. So, you really want to catch people off guard is what you want to do with them, I feel anyway, or get some good island cover. Now, Anchorage has pushed up too far, and now it's not a fair fight, and that's what you always want in World of Warships as we go ahead, get some overpins in the Citadel. And this could have been a super bad match as we're going to angle to the Anchorage. We're not really scared of the Anchorage in a one-on-one battle. That is a good player and a good ship, but I feel like a person, if you're being effective, can take on another good player in a similar style ship. So we're going to go ahead and get the cap. And as we do this, you're going to notice there is a blazing dread coming. And we're not going to shoot right away on him. We're going to wait until you can see I'm checking my distance here as we're getting the cap. But we're going to actually go ahead and wait here until he starts making a turn to shoot. And I don't lead this quite far enough. And you're going to see I had been in some other ships because American shells have a tendency to lob. And you're going to see that I definitely had that issue. We're going to take another shot over the island as we push up. And now, as you can see here, we're having we're having the fight that was really close has now all of a sudden become in our favor. And this could have been a very bad match for me if I just rushed in and charged. I did help my team spot. I used my detection to help spot. So that was a good thing, as we're going to go ahead and get a Citadel and finish off the Blazing Dread and move up onto the carrier. But had I just rushed in, I feel like this could have been a very terrible game. Now, was this like a world record or the most amazing game ever? But I think sometimes it's not about them games. I feel like it's about the games that you can do as much as you can with without being absolutely crazy. As we're going to start shooting Chekhov here. You know, it would be easy to pass this game up and pushed in and put ourselves in a pretty bad spot, right? And then we would have been no help to our team whatsoever for the entire rest of the match. And while we did have a slow start, we're making up for it a little bit. And that's another thing lately that I've realized with Warships. You don't always have to shoot your guns. You can get yourself into a better position and do more damage than just straight shooting your guns all the time. As you can see, the carrier is now coming for me here, as we're going to work on trying to get rid of some of his planes. And as you can see, Chekhov is now put himself in a bad spot. But like I said, point of the story is sometimes you have to make good decisions even if you don't think it's going to be a crazy game, and you're going to have to save what you can from it. Backing off definitely I feel was the right decision here, as we're going to go ahead and try to finish off Chekhov. Is you can see here we are going to get him. Our teammate gets a helping hand. We almost actually had a Kraken in that, didn't realize that. But we had another solid teammate as well. Definitely a solid game. Almost 3,000 base game at tier 6. So pretty good. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you folks next time. Have a good one.